Live.
Okay. Hello. Am I audible?
Yes, yes.
Okay. Hello and good evening to all. Welcome to Decoding Realpolitik. We are back with another enriching session. And for today's session, we are really, delighted to have Mr. Khan Zahid with us today for this special lecture on Borderland communities in Jammu and Kashmir, cultural resilience and contestation. Mr. Jahid is a senior research fellow currently associated with the Department of Political Science at Rabindra Bharati University and the Department of International Relations at Jadavpur University, Kolkata. So he completed his master's in political science from the University of Kashmir and has qualified both National Eligibility Test and Maulana Azad National Fellowship. His research interest encompasses borderland studies, alienation, uh, political anthropology, ethnographic studies, conflict-ridden minorities, and socio-political life of mountainous communities. And so we are eagerly looking forward to hearing his valuable insights on this important subject. And for the audience, today's session will be conducted in a bilingual format using both Hindi and English for wider and inclusive participation. And you may raise your questions and concerns in the chat box if you have any, queries regarding this issue. So I would like to invite our speaker for today's session. So you may kindly go ahead with your lecture. Thank you.
Apurva, am I audible and visible both?
You are audible and visible.
Okay, shall I start?
Yes, yes, yes. You can start.
Just come up with the slide.
So, may I share this
Yes, yes, you
PPT?
can. Yes, yes.
Okay, okay. Yes,
Thank you,
start. Yeah,
Salochana, and
start.
thank you, Apurva, for the introduction. Thank you for giving me such platform for such topic. Okay, today we are going to deliberate upon, uh, explore upon the topic. It's a very unresearched topic. That's the borderland communities in Jammu and Kashmir, and the cultural resilience and the contestations. So, coming to the borderland, first of all, we must decode what borderlands are, what borderland means for us, and what borderland means for the state. So, borderland is an intersection point where national identity meets the international identity. From another perspective, from the perspective of the people, where various ethno-linguistic sections intersect and meet and divide itself. So that's a very a simple basic understanding of borderland in today's world. So borderland actually relies through in context of how the state are looking at the borders. So borderland actually it's kind of a point, a dividing line that's not only dividing the geography but also dividing the social spaces among the people. Social spaces among the people, I mean to say that borders are not just dividing the geography, ju- dividing the land, uh, the natural setting, but also dividing the peoples, also dividing the language, also dividing the ethnicities, uh, also dividing the cultures, religions. So that's a understanding of border through the perspective of people. So how peoples they are uh, defining the borders. So there are various types of border, like we have porous border, we have volatile borders. Take the example of Bangladesh, India and Bangladesh. There is India is sharing its longest border with the Bangladesh, but that fall into that can be categorized into uh, a sort of porous border. That's there is we find much uh, connection, contact in the Indo-Bangladesh border. But on the other hand, we have volatile border, which we are getting in case of India and Pakistan in the Western Front, uh, in case of India and China, in case of USA and Mexico. There are a lot of volatile borders around the world, which make it more complex in nature. Because when we there is difference that there is, it's not necessary that in all the borderland when we are looking at the borders, so it's sort of a sudden understanding came in our mind, that's a very negative connotation of the borders, that border divides the people, border divides border actually shrinks the opportunity among the state, among the people. But there are porous border which are generating opportunities. So it depends where the borders are and what type of nation and what type of cultural settings are there in the borderlands. So in case of Jammu and Kashmir, it's very volatile borders and there is cultural complexities. But that's we are finding just border since 1947. Before 1947, the borders were not there. We're just getting bored. We are the people of Jammu and Kashmir who are living on the borders. They are just facing. They are just realizing their identity as a borderland people since 1947. Before that, they were not called a borderlander. So suddenly, after a dividing line in 1947, so people uh, has been just put into this notion of called imposed borders. They not choose to live on that border because they're just living on the simple place, so that place suddenly became border, and their cultural uh, resilience and their cultural contestation starts from there. So now, that who are the people who are living at the borders and what are the various communities. Apura, can you just show me the map of Jammu and Kashmir? Yes, yes. So this is a ethno-linguistic map of Jammu and Kashmir, that what are the various communities which are living at the borderlands of Jammu and Kashmir. So Jammu and Kashmir border itself divided into various sets. One is we have getting this international border starting from Jammu division, uh, and up to this Nowshera sector. So that's called international border. That is, there is no dispute on that very border. That's an internationally accepted border. The second borderland starts in the form of LOC, which start from the Nowshera sector and up to the Gurez Valley, up to Kargil and Gurez Valley. So that is called the LOC. So there, this is a another division. This is another section of border. That's line of control. So where both the the armies of both the countries are controlling there. That's a contest. That is in itself a contesting thing, which make the life of the borderland people in LOC is very complex. And the third is the ALC, the actual line of control, which is we today we are not talking about. That's in between India and Ladakh. So that's the actual line of control. But today we are more focusing on the line of control, the categorization, the line of control border. So where both the army are controlling, that's not an internationally accepted border. So with there is no exception of this border internationally, that make the uh, life of the people more complex and more liminal in itself. You can use the term liminal. That's they are in the space of liminal, they are in the space of transition. They cannot uh, they cannot call themselves, they cannot clearly identify themselves, so where they actually belong to. For example, people living uh, in Gurez, they are called Shina. There is a community in Gurez that's called Shina people. That's all also called Balti people. They are speaking Shina language. So they are divided. So earlier, their cultural lineage is very much. We are founding their cultural lineage into the Gilgit Baltistan. They are basically their cultural hub is in Gilgit Baltistan. But since 1947, they are divided. So their ethnicity also got divided. So that is the one community which are living in Gurez. So they are called the Borderland people. So normally border there is no we cannot say no work, but there is very kind of meager work has been done on the life of the Borderland people, and even around the world. Borderland has been studied through political aspect, but not through social aspect. So Borderland is a people. So people of the Borderland, they are making these Borderland as a social space, the space of contact, as a living space. And coming to another community, which is called the Pahadi community. It's an umbrella term used for those people who are heterogeneous across the on the cultural line, on the religious line. The only uniting factor among these Pahadi are we are more often exactly calling it the Potohari people. They are living they are living mostly in Pir Panjal range and in the northern districts of Jammu and Kashmir. That's called Kapwara district and the Baramulla district. And in Kapwara and Baramulla district, we're finding them on the margins. They are basically living on the margins. So uh, this green line showing where these people actually are residing. They are residing on the Pir Panjal range. They are divided. They are divided in regions. They are living in Jammu region also, and they are living in Kashmir region. But on the both the region, they are divided. They are scattered in the peripheral region. They are not into the mainland. And the third community, and they are heterogeneous, and like you will find Muslim Pahadis, you will find Hindu Pahadis, you will find Christian Pahadis also, and you will also find the Sikh people who are speaking Pahadi language, but they are Sikh. So they are mostly refugee, and they just developed their identity as a refugees since 1947, and they are mostly found in Punch district, the main Punch district in Jammu and Kashmir. So this community actually uh, they are very complex in their cultural setting, because they are not they belong to multiple religion. They belong to this multiple classes. They belong to multiple caste. So their complexities uh, as compared to the other communities is much more. So the third community which we find getting in the borderland, that's the Gujar and Bakarwal communities. The subcategory is Bakarwal community. So they are the transhuman pastoralist. So Pahadis are also tribe, but they are semi-nomadic tribe. But on the other hand, we're getting Gujar and Bakarwal people. Bakarwal are they are the trans human pastoralists who are migrating during summer into the Kashmir Valley, and they are just settling down into the Jammu plain during the winter. So these are there are other communities also, but these are the major communities which are living, which are encompassing at the borderland, which are living on the borderland. So their life is, how their life is complicated and impacted by the border is a question. Uh, Apura, can you change the slide? So I already described that what are the major ethnic communities. Just go to back. Go to back. The major ethnic community. Yes. So I already described this. Pahadi is the Mera term used for the heterogeneous community. They are speaking Pahadi language, which is also called Potwari language. So much of the Pahadis, they are divided at the time of partition. So 70% of the Pahadis people, they are living into Pakistan side of Kashmir. So the 70% population, if 70% of the population living in that, so they are not much consolidated politically and socially. They are not much consolidated into Indian side of Kashmir. And the Gujar and Bakra I already described that, say they are the transhuman pastoralist, and Darshina people divided in a group at LOCF, Gurez and Kargil. They are, we are also getting this Dardan Shina people in Kargil. Just come to go to the next slide. So how they are impacted by the border? So first of all, we need to look upon the structure of the territory in the borderland, and what are the socio-political landscape. Socio-political landscape, I am trying to describe later. But what are the structure of territory? So the territory is very much hilly in nature, that among all these communities where they are residing, whether it is Shina people, uh, Dart people, Pahadi people, and Gujar and Bakarwal people. So wherever they are living, the major chunk of these people, the major proportion of these people, they are encompassing the hills of Jammu and Kashmir. So that that's another addition to the complexities of their life. So that their border is not like that they are living in the plain, they are living in the urban areas. So the urban border, the rural border, that's also division, but they are living in a remote, backward, rural, mountainous region. So these are the various intersections upon which these communities are running their life. The various intersections, these sections, that they are, first of all, they are their villages, that's in the urban rural areas, sorry. And secondly, they are living in a geographically isolated places. Thirdly, they are living in the mountainous region. The terrain is mountainous, which is also a challenge, which make it very much difficult for the government to reach there, for the adaptation of the policy, the ground level policy which government is introducing for these marginalized communities. So it's very difficult to elevate their condition. That the question of intersection of geography and structure of securitization of the borderland. So there, the various structure, the various layers of marginalizations are there, and at the top of the at the top, the layer of this borderland, and more precisely, the layer of securitization of the borderland. How border has been securitized. So, in the beginning of my lecture, I described that Jammu and Kashmir's borderland is a volatile borderland. So, the more volatility is there among, why volatility? Because of the conflict ridden. Both the country, they are fighting since 1947. So that's a not normal border. So, in order to get a full control of those border spaces, the more securitization from the state, state need more securitization, and for more securitization you need more militarization. So that's a very simple thing to understand, that for more securitization you need more militarization. And when there is more militarization, so it's not a space that where you are putting militarization, that there are people who are leaving. So there is intersection of militarization and the common people, the civilians who are living on these margins. So they are already facing intersections of various marginality. They are going through various layers of marginalization. They are going through this illiteracy, poverty, ethnic divisions are there. So on top, there is the complexities of borderland. They're living their life as a borderland, or they are daily living their life as a borderland. For example, if you are posing a question to people, to a person who is living in Delhi, so what borderland mean to him or her? A person who is living in Kolkata or in Hyderabad, uh, in a metropolitan cities, what actually border means to them? They will describe border very differently. And what borders for people who are actually living their life as a borderland? So they have an entirely different notion. Their identity is different. Their loyalty is different. The question when the I to this described in this thing, that Kashmir borderland, the this Jammu and Kashmir borderland is not is a kind of a fixed borderland. Then when there is no fixation, that means the people, they are in the space of transition. So there is question of uh, where they actually belongs to. The if we just uh, what we can say, skip this Gujar and Bakarwal community, uh, the other communities like Pahadi community or Darshina community, they are strictly divided. Their major chunks you will find in that side of Kashmir. So their cultural hub in that side. So how they maintain their cultural resilience, how they maintain their cultural continuity of their culture, itself a very complex thing for them. Because in the borderland is such a space which is governed through laws of exception. It's a space of exception. What Donan and Wilson says, that borderlands are what precisely called barbed wires and Gouda towers. So there is continuous surveillance into their life. They are. It's not necessary that they are facing these challenges in the borderland only during the time of shelling, which say a different it deserve a different talk on this, that they are not only facing this shelling and all that, which we saw just last month, when there is war between both the countries. It's the people of the borderland who are getting suffered from this conflict. So they are the worst sufferer. They are the first sufferer. So for them, maintaining their cultural continuity is a very a kind of is challenge task, because they are not living their life as like the rest of the people in the core places. They are the peripheral. They are living on the periphery. The second thing, that they not only suffered from the this state, when state is creating securitization, so it's the people who are because state, what state is doing, state is actually doing that. There's realization of the sovereignty. Their full realization of the sovereignty you will find at the borders. But at the same time you will find strict alienation at the borders. The people who are living in the border of Jammu and Kashmir, they are also suffered from the non-state actors. various the non-state actors. So there are layers of challenges for these people who are living on the borders. So and these people, they are they are suffering through various modes of this marginality, like their illiteracy, poverty, uh, lack of this infrastructure, lack of political side. So they are also suffering from the activities of the non-state actors. So that's a uh, thing which we need to take into consideration. No one is talking about this. That's how the non-state actors, they are adding the challenge into the life of the people. So due to all these layers, due to all these challenges, that the cultural diffusion is very much challengeable further. Another thing is that the politics of underdevelopment is a political tool exploiting the geographic margin. This thing that mean the politics of underdevelopment is a political tool exploit. Why? Because these people, they are underdeveloped. First of all, whether it is Shina people, whether it is Pahadi people, whether it is Gujar Bakarwal community. So more or less किसी का 56% होगा, किसी का कोई 56% अंडर डेवलप होगा, कोई 70% अंडर डेवलप होगा, बट मोर और लेस दे आर अंडर डेवलप्ड, है ना. दे आर सोशली, इकोनॉमिकली, एजुकेशनली, दे आर अंडर डेवलप्ड. And the political parties, they in every elections, political party, they're using their identity of underdevelopment for their future goals. They are just exploiting the identity of their geographical margins, because they are living on the geographical margin. They don't possess power. They don't have that kind of power, and they don't have that kind of this political insight. They are not their political culture, which David Easton is explaining that sorry, Almond and Verba explained that they are categorized into a low political culture. So they are not politically much aware of their condition. So political parties, what they are doing, they are using their identity of underdevelopment in order to exploit them. They are exploiting their geographical identity. And you'll find that these people, whether starting from the Gurez, from the northern and up to the this southern side, up to Rajouri, Punch, Tangdar, or Udi. So these people, these people are fairly divided by the state structure. the, for example, the Pahadi people, if you take the example of Pahadi people, they are divided into four districts. Mainly they are you are getting these Pahadi into four districts. First is, if we start from the Kashmir division, you will find them in Kapora district, not in the mainland of Kapora. You will find them in the margins of the Kapora, like Karna, Keren, Machal. So these are the places where they are living. In Baramulla district, you will find it in Udi. That's very much known to you people also. And if we talk about the Punch region, you will get them uh, in the mainland of Punch, in the Mender Tehsil, in Rajouri district, you will find them. So all these Bahari people, they are internally not interlinked. They are divided, and this division, is it is it is a deliberate division. They are not internal divide. For example, if any Pahadi who want to meet, who want any Pahadi from the Punch district want to meet uh, a Pahadi of the Kapora districts, so it's very difficult for him. And most of the Pahadi people, they even don't know that where our community is living. So there is no interlink geographical interlink. I'm talking about there are not well structured road, and there is no infrastructure, so they are divided. So this divided restrict their mobility, which further restrict their political mobility, which render them in the underdevelopment. So various modes of marginality I already described. Just can you change it, Apurva? So just look at the space, the how the space of the borderline in Kashmir look like. This is just a uh, exhibition that how borderline in Kashmir look like. It's a hilly terrain. So when there is a hilly terrain, it's very complex for the people to engage in their day-to-day life. There is a strict securitization. So the people there, and there is another question, the gender question. For example, if just you carefully look at this place, you will not find any kind of road or infrastructure there. You will not find any ATM or bank or any other service here. So just imagine this is just a space that imagine there is no infrastructure. So most of the Jammu and Kashmir's border look like this. This is just a image which I shared here. So इससे भी ज़्यादा complexities मिलेगी. So this geographical isolation intersection with their when intersecting with the this securitization of the border ultimately also make the people life a challenge. And when the people they are not living the normal life, so how they continue with their culture. So this is the cultural resilience they are daily facing. They cannot disperse their culture. The cultural diffusion is very a kind of a restricted thing. And there are, for example, their culture is very much linked with. Can you please change this slide? Yes. So the culture of these communities linked with the because they are the marginalized communities, the underdeveloped community. Their culture is very much linked with their livelihood, with the agriculture practice, with the pastoral, this transhumant pastoral uh, settings. So their culture is very much linked with all these things. So maintaining this cultural maintaining their cultural life is also a challenge task in the borderland of Jammu and Kashmir. And one more thing that when we're talking about the culture, in recent time, uh, there is a biggest the inter-community cultural contestation among the Pahadis and the Gujar Bakarwal community. Why? So I wrote here that there is in it's not inert, it's inter-community cultural contestation when fusing for political opportunity. So what does it mean? Let's decode it. That means that most of the Pahadis people who are also called Potohari, they are very much heterogeneous in nature. I already described. And the Gujar and Bakrawal community, who are not very much heterogeneous on religious line. They are much homogeneous group as compared to Pahadi people. So there is and their cultural setting and their culture practice more or less their cultural practice are similar. There's not much difference. There is difference. First of all, when we are talking about culture, the first thing that work that is language. Their language is different. Pahadis, Potohari, they are speaking Pahadi language, and Gujar Bakarwal, they are speaking Gojri language. Their language is different, but the other cultural practices which they are practicing during their marriage ceremony, during their this uh, transhuman, this pastoral life. So that is all almost similar. There's not much difference. There is difference, but there's not much difference. But there is contestant that when in 1990 that along with this Balti community in Gujar Bagarwal community also got scheduled type status, that state use this affirmative action during 90, but Pahari people were not added to this. Now that when 2024 in 2024 this Pahari community has been given this reservation, their pending long pending scheduled tribe uh, demand. So now that most of the this question is around what are the exclusive cultural practices among the two communities. So this was the question, but and both the communities being unbiased here, that both the community they are using a culture practice, they are just defining that no, this is our culture practice, this our tradition. So both the community, they are more precisely they are using their culture practices when there is question of political opportunities. To be unbiased here, I'm saying that when there is political opportunity, so both the communities they are trying to show that this culture belong to us, that is their, it is our culture. For example, this Pahadis, they are very much into this agriculture practices. uh, Historically this Gujar and Bakarwal people, they are using, they are the cattle rearer and a cattle herder, cattle rearer, transhuman pastoralist. They are migrating during the summer. So the Pahadis are also migrating, but they are semi-nomadic tribe. So this is a reason that both the community they are trying to define a single culture as of their own. I cannot say that there are two type of culture, because both the community they are living in the same social in political in sorry in the same social space and in the same geographical space. You will find, if you will go to Pir Panjal, you will find that Pahadis are also living on the same place where Gurjars are living. So it's a sort of cultural assimilation is there. So when the with the history pass, that this cultural assimilation we much find among these two communities. But that as far as Gujar community is concerned, they are very much into their culture practices. They are very much into their culture preservation. Pahadis are not that, they are trying to preserve their culture through storytelling, uh, folk rituals, uh, because they are just trying to uh, show their identity as a borderlander, identity of partition. So in their own language, so they are trying to preserve. But the thing is this, that they are not, I already described that they are not much consolidated. Geographically they are not much consolidated, and politically, and also politically they will not much consolidated as compared to the people, the Gujar and Bakarwal people, as compared to the Shina people who, who are living in Gurez. The people in the Gurez, Shina people who are living in the Gurez, they are locating their cultural hub in the Gilgit Baltistan. So they are divided there, and their cultural practices, their cultural contestation and resilience is also there. They're also suffering a sort of cultural, they are also unable to disseminate their culture because their counterparts they are living on that side of border. There is no contact. And as of I already described that Jammu and Kashmir border is a contested border, it's a volatile border. So there is no question of contact. Although during Congress government in 2004 onward, so most of the border has been open. Like we find this Chakandabag corridor, Uri Muzaffarabad corridor, that Titwal corridor in northern Kashmir. So most of the corridor has been opened for people to people contact, so through confidence building measure. But the situation not remain uh, good after the parliament, after this 2008 this terrorist attack. So because of that, all the corridor has been again closed. So एक वो जो होप नज़र आ रही थी कि ये कॉरिडोर्स खोलेंगे, पीपल टू पीपल कांटेक्ट होगा, अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ बढ़ेंगी, तो कल्चरल डिसिमिनेट कैसे होता है? बिकॉज ऑफ द कॉन्टैक्ट. You have your own language, but there is no opportunity of contact. You cannot contact with your counterpart. You cannot contact with your ancestor. You cannot contact with your a land which you are owning at one point of time. This case is with the Pahadi that when they got divided during 1947. So जब वो इस तरफ आ गए तो उनका लैंड उसी वहीं पे रह गया. तो that's why ये भी उनका एक this reason that they remain under the this अंडर डेवलपमेंट. क्योंकि उनका लैंड ही जब उनसे छीन गया, तो लैंड इज ए इट्स एन एसेट, तो उनका इंटाइटलमेंट है वही उनसे छीन गया. तो and 70% Pahadis, they are living in that side of Kashmir. And I'm just adding one thing here, that why this why culture is important, that how the Pakistan's side of Kashmir ke jo Pahadis hain, how they are maintaining their cultural resonance, uh, how they are maintaining their cultural practice, and how much consolidated they are. uh, if you uh, look at the people, this Pahadi people who are living at that side of Kashmir in Mirpur, yes, Mirpur, Muzaffarabad, that most of the Pahadi people in that side of Kashmir, they uh, got a status in United Kingdom. The same kind of Pahadi people who are living in Jammu, this side of Kashmir, just 30%, and 70% are there. And from there, they went to United Kingdom, and they just created a diaspora of their own. So basically, no communities developed or underdeveloped. So this is how the social and political structure has been framed, and those people put under that very structures, so that the future of every community, the every race has been created through the political structure. What are the political structure under which they are living? So those Bahari people, they developed a diaspora of their own. उनकी magazines वहाँ से निकलते हैं, उनकी पोइट्री वहाँ से पब्लिश होती है, शाया होती है. कहाँ से? यूनाइटेड किंगडम से, डेवलप्ड कंट्री. वहाँ पर आफ्टर इंग्लिश, Pahadi is the this minority language, accepted minority language after this 2021. तो 2021 में जहाँ जब वहाँ पे इलेक्शंस हो गए, तो वहाँ पर पहाड़ी एक्सेप्टेड, वही पहाड़ी जो यहाँ जम्मू एंड कश्मीर एज ए ट्राइबल लैंड, वही पहाड़ी पीपल जो जम्मू कश्मीर में एज ए ट्राइबल माने जाते हैं. अभी तक तो उनको ट्राइबल स्टेटस भी नहीं दिया गया था. And talk about the Pahadi people who are living in Himachal. So what is their condition? They are underdeveloped. Pahadi people who are living in the Kumaon Hills, they are underdeveloped. But see, those Pahadi who are living in that side of Kashmir, they just created the diaspora of their own. So that's a opportunity. When a community getting opportunity, so that's the flourishing वहीं से होते हैं. When you are giving political opportunity, आप किसी को वहाँ से जाने देते हैं, अपॉर्चुनिटी क्रिएट करते हैं, यहाँ जहाँ पर उनको अपॉर्चुनिटी है वहाँ पर उनको हेल्प करते हैं. तो इस तरह से कम्युनिटी के चैलेंजेस कम होते हैं और डेवलपमेंट का एस्पेक्ट खुलता है. बट इन केस ऑफ communities who are living in Indian side of this borderland, Jammu and Kashmir, so they are facing a kind of alienation. They are alienated. They are alienated from their geography. They are alienated from their community. They are alienated from their this economy. They are alienated from their what do we say? They are alienated from their families. Most of this uh, divided people who are living in borderland, they are divided. Much of their ancestors, they living that side. Just like in case of West Bengal, most of there is cultural lineage. between the people of West Bengal and the Bangladesh. There are a lot of people who have one or two family member, their ancestor, they are from Bangladesh or from West Bengal. तो इस तरह से they are divided. So when people they are divided on the margins, so the cultural practices that with the passage of the cultural practice and their cultural identity under strict challenge and under question also. Just can you please change that adaptation? And when we talking about adaptation and resilience, so still when they are these people they are all under all these challenges, so still they are trying to adopt, they are still trying to learn how to live in the borderland, in a restricted mobility, in a restricted borderland, in a restricted space. 7 बजे के बाद आप बॉर्डरलैंड पे घर से नहीं निकल सकते. इट्स नॉट दिल्ली या कोर प्लेस है जहाँ पे आप दिन रात काम करेंगे और खुद को डेवलप करेंगे, अपनी कम्युनिटी को डेवलप करेंगे. ऐसा नहीं होता है. बॉर्डर्स पे दे आर गवर्न थ्रू डिफरेंट लॉज, दे आर गवर्न थ्रू रूल ऑफ एक्सेप्शंस. But that's globalization also impacted the border in Jammu and Kashmir. How that most of this trans-human pastorals like Gujar and Bagarwal, they are using the modern technology now. They are using the phones when they are going to upper regions. For example, यहाँ पर nomadic का ये है कि they are going for 3 to 4 months. They're just staying there, uh, sometimes 4 5 months, depending upon this climatic condition. So yeah, they are using modern technology. They are using these solar lights like phones in order to stay there, and they are hiring vehicles. वहाँ पहले तो इनको चल के जाना पड़ता था. अब तो जब से गाड़ियाँ आ गई तो तब से ये अब गाड़ियों पे जाते हैं वहाँ पे, और थोड़ा सा आसान भी हो गया. तो that's how they are balancing this with their cultural tradition with the modern needs. Displacement is a major question. It's a major challenge. Uh, we deserve a separate chapter on this. That this displacement also put a pressure on the people uh, to preserve their culture. That क्योंकि when border shelling is happening, जब border shelling होता है तो most of the people they are displacing from their lands to an alienated land where they are not into their fellow beings. Everyone trying to preserve his or her life at the first instance. So like a sort of the cultural setting you will not find there where you are displaced. फॉर एग्जांपल अगर मैं किसी बंदे को नॉर्थ बंगाल या बंगाल से उठा के यूनाइटेड किंगडम में डाल दूं तो वहाँ पे वो अपने कल्चर को ज़्यादा प्रिजर्व नहीं कर पाएगा, बिकॉज यू नीड फेलो बीइंग्स. द कल्चर इज अ सोशल फिनोमेना. यू नीड योर कम्युनिटी in order to preserve your culture. तो सेम हैपन विद दिस कम्युनिटी कि ये डिस्प्लेस हो जाते हैं एक जगह से दूसरी जगह जहाँ पर इनको अपनी कम्युनिटी नहीं मिलती है, अपने कल्चर प्रैक्टिस नहीं मिलते. तो फॉर एग्जांपल अगर कोई बंगाली यहाँ से डिस्प्लेस अगर होता है, या चॉइस से हो या बिना चॉइस से, अगर वो यूनाइटेड किंगडम या यूएसए में जाएगा तो वो वहाँ पे इंग्लिश ही करेगा. ही विल नॉट स्पीक इन हिज बंगाली लैंग्वेज अनटिल एंड अनलेस एंड ही विल गेट हिज फेलो बीइंग, या कोई जो बंगाली बोलने वाला हो या कोई हिंदी बोलने वाला भी हो. So same is the case with these people that when they are displaced due to war-like situation or shelling etc. So they that also put a challenge for their culture preservance, and their identities also were diminishing with the passage of time. They're trying to lose their identity. This happened with various historically happened with various community. They are unable to preserve their identity due to various reason. And being the when the identity is in case of borderland, people, that the same rules apply on them, that with the passage of time they are unable to preserve their language, they are unable to preserve their cultural practice, their cultural happenings. So with the passage of time they are getting assimilated with the other communities, वो assimilate हो जाते हैं, because they are not getting that much environment where they can preserve their culture. That's cultural practice of marriage, agriculture, dressing often get disturbed by the morphological makeup of the border. So I use this that the culture of these people is very much associated with their marriages. So आज भी अगर इनकी जब मैरिज होती है, especially गुजर people और बकरवाल people, पहाड़ी people, most of the cases में they are using a kind of यहाँ पर अब किसी को समझ आएगा नहीं आएगा शायद, डोली बोलते हैं हम उसको। तो वो एक जगह से दूसरी जगह ले जानी पड़ती है, बट इन ए रिस्ट्रिक्टेड प्लेस, है ना, आपको रिस्ट्रिक्टेड रास्ते हैं, आपको जाने नहीं दिया जाएगा वहाँ पे बिकॉज ऑफ द सिक्योरिटी रीजन। सो आपका कल्चर वहाँ पे इम्पैक्ट हो जाएगा, बिकॉज आप कल्चर को रियलाइज कर रहे हो थ्रू मैरिज, आप मैरिज में कल्चर को दिखा रहे हो, बट वो कल्चर वहाँ पर उसका रियलाइजेशन ही नहीं, कंटिन्यूटी ही नहीं है वहाँ पे, वो वैसी सेटिंग्स ही नहीं है कि जहाँ पे आप उस कल्चर को रियलाइज कर सके, प्रैक्टिस कर सके। सेम इज द केस विद देयर एग्रीकल्चर सेटिंग, that in if you want to talk about some border villages in North Kashmir, Kapwara district, or this Balakot area of Punch district, that most of the people क्या वो दिन में जाएंगे, uh, अपने एग्रीकल्चर लैंड पे जाएंगे, they have to show their passes, they have to prove their identity, yes they belong to that very village on daily basis। और वो वहाँ से कुछ एनीथिंग इफ दे आर गेटिंग फ्रॉम देयर, अगर वो अपने लैंड में कुछ ले जा रहे हैं या अपने लैंड से कुछ ला रहे हैं, एनीथिंग, सो दैट the whole all this settings is अंडर स्टेट स्ट्रक्चर, वो एक स्टेट सर्विलेंस के अंडर वो सब चीज। इवन व्हेन आई विजिटेड सम प्लेसेस इन बालाकोट, वहाँ पे इवन बिकॉज आई एम आल्सो हेलिंग फ्रॉम ए बॉर्डरलैंड एरिया, तो बचपन से ये सब चीज़ें देखी कि इवन अगर कोई घास भी काट के ला रहा है, उसको भी चेक किया जाएगा कि अगर वो घास वहाँ से काट के लिया जा रहा है, सो उसको भी दैट इज आल्सो अंडर सर्विलेंस। तो आपको माइक्रो एनालिटिकली देखना पड़ेगा अपॉन द लाइव्स ऑफ दीज बॉर्डरलैंड पीपल। आप दिल्ली, आप सबको पता है कि इनकी वहाँ पे लैंड है, एवरीथिंग इज देयर, है ना, इनकी वहाँ पे लैंड है, इनका वहाँ पे हाउस है, सब कुछ है, बट अब वो थोड़ा सा उसको क्या बोले डिस्प्लेस होकर कहीं और चले गए हैं, अब वो वहाँ नहीं रहना चाहते, बिकॉज वाई, बिकॉज ऑफ द रिफ्ट बिटवीन द टू नेशन विच अल्टीमेटली स्पॉइल देयर लाइफ, थ्रेट टू देयर लाइफ। तो वो वहाँ रहना नहीं चाहिए, बट उनकी लैंड है वहाँ पे, वो लैंड को तो वहाँ से नहीं ला सकते, वो खुद वहाँ से आ जाएंगे लैंड को। तो दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट क्वेश्चन कि उनकी वो जो लैंड है दैट्स नॉट देयर वन, दैट्स बिकम एलिनेटेड, it's not the land which in Pakistan's control, no I'm not talking about that। लैंड जो वार से पहले या 1965 वार हो गया है, 1971 वार हो गया, तो वो लैंड एक टाइम पे एक नॉर्मल प्लेस हुआ करता था, बट विद द पैसेज ऑफ टाइम, विद द स्किर्मिशेस बिटवीन द टू कंट्रीज, वो लैंड अब क्या हो गया, एक अनहेबिटेड प्लेस हो गया, बट लैंड इज देयर। अब वहाँ पर अगर कोई जाके लैंड को यूज़ करता है, वहाँ से एनीथिंग इज गेटिंग, है ना, तो उसके ऊपर भी देर आर रिस्ट्रिक्शंस। सो सी हाउ you are learned when Marx is saying how you are this ability has been alienated, आपको एलिनेट किया जाता है आपकी लैंड से, आपकी कमोडिटी से। तो लैंड इज कमोडिटी फॉर दिस बॉर्डरलैंड एंड बिकॉज दे डोंट हैव अदर सोर्सेज। जैसे आई शोड यू द पिक्चर दैट मोस्ट ऑफ द बॉर्डरलैंड में वहाँ कोई इतना ज़्यादा इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर है नहीं, इतनी ज़्यादा अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ है नहीं, इतना ज़्यादा कॉर्पोरेट है नहीं, इतना ज़्यादा एजुकेशनल इंस्टीट्यूशन है नहीं, तो अदर अपॉर्चुनिटीज़ नहीं है। तो यू आर डिपेंडिंग अपॉन द this agricultural land, but this agricultural land is also under state surveillance, and at the end but not the least, that Another important aspect in the life of these borderland communities in Jammu and Kashmir, that is the civil military relationship, that they have to live with the military people, because military people, who are the military peoples, they are from, they are the symbols of state. Military people, they are the symbols of state, they are representing a state. But when they are representing a state, they are also human, they are coming into contact with the those people who are making these spaces as a living entity, borderline as a living entity. So there is a civil military relationship between the people who are living on the borderland and the agencies of the state, that is the armed forces. To most of the people in Jammu and Kashmir, and you will find a very, although it's a volatile border in Jammu and Kashmir, but most of the borders in Jammu and Kashmir, and most of the borderland people in Jammu and Kashmir, they have a very kind of cordial relation with the armed forces, and armed forces also have a cordial relation. आपने अगर कभी सद्भावना का में से किसी ने नाम सुना होगा, that's there was a this policy from the central government, that was Sadbhavna, कि how to win this the heart of the people who are living on the borderland in order to counter the non-state actors. So that is the another this side of the life of the people. How many faces that these borderland people are living, that's another phase, that how without arms they are safeguarding the borders. And you will not find all these things in newspaper, you will not find all these things on your television rooms, you will not get this. But these are the things which are happening at the ground level. That's how people who are living on the borderland also work, also work for the nation, for their state, without a sort of formal uniform, without the arms. So the borderland people, along with the armed forces, they are just safeguarding the borders also. Although the identity of the borderland people, because of these border, are much challenge. It make the life of the borderland much challenge task. So not normal, but still these people, along with the armed forces, they are working for their nation. And अब government को क्या करना चाहिए, must focus on these alienated people. The government is not that much focus, but still people, they are working for the government. They know that they are the most alienated, but still they are working for their nation, for their country, for their state. Can you please change next? So that was for today's. If any question, any query, that's welcome. Okay. You're not audible.
Hello.
Yes, now you are audible.
Yes, yes. I think we do not have received any question in the comment box or chat box. So I think Raja, you have the question or queries, right?
Okay, thank you, Zahid. It was a very insightful session for us. I have learned a lot of things which I didn't know. So I have a simple question. Is that as you have said that how the people have been impacted by the continuous secularization in the borderland spaces. So I just want to ask that, like, how the border inhabitants, the peoples there, like how they navigate, how they navigate these fears that have been comes with the growing
You are not
secularization
uh,
and both.
you are not clearly audible. Can you please write your question in the chat box, because I will get a concise view what you want to actually ask. You are
Yeah,
not
I will.
clear.
Yeah, obviously I will. Okay, let me write then. Okay,
If you write, that will help
okay.
me and it will also help you.
Yeah, yeah, sure. Okay, until then, I'm just writing. Until then, I don't get this.
So I think we are going to receive two questions from Rajdeep sir, our previous speaker on our platform. Right. So can you see the comments? Thank you for your information. Providing. I have two questions. One, what is uh, human pastoralism? Can you see
Uh,
Zahid, Mr. Khan?
yes, yes. Uh, Please don't hesitate to ask question. Uh, but where is the question? I'm not getting.
It is visible in the screen, I think.
Am I visible now?
Yes, yes, you are visible, and the question is also visible in the screen.
There is a question that what is transhuman pastoralism? That it's a
That
cultural, it's a practice it's in nomadic tribal practice, that when you are moving towards a different location, geographical location, with your livestock, whether it is your sheeps, buffaloes, cows, with your livestock to a different region. So that's a transhuman pastoralism, which we are getting uh, in Gujars and Bakrowal, Pahadi peoples. Pahadis are semi-nomadic. They are also called nomadic people. That for their this livelihood, they are moving. So they are moving along with their livestock to a different location. So that's basically transhuman pastoralism. Basically pasture lands में from lower to higher places, when you are visiting going from lower to higher places, higher altitudes, uh, for these grazing land, pastures during summers, just basically you'll find it in the Himalaya regions. So that's it's a very simple, it's a very simple term. It's a transhuman pastoralism.
and
Any other?
if you find a hello, can you hear me?
Yes, yes, I can hear you.
You just go to the private chat box. There is a question asked by Raja Lohar, right? How do border inhabitants?
How do border
Okay, I
inhabitants
think
emotionally navigate fear, hope, and belongingness while living at the edge of national territory? So that's a very interesting question. That how do border inhabitants emotionally navigate? That there is two thing. One is active fear psychosis in the borders, and the second is passive fear psychosis. Active fear psychosis in the border, you will find when is sort of direct confrontation between the two countries, war-like situation, shelling, ceasefire violation. You will find at that time. And negate yeah, passive fear psychosis, that is when there is not such thing happening, but you are still under the control of securitization, state structure, that your mobility is restricted, and your life is restricted. You cannot go to uh, the place which you want to. So that create a question of a fear among the people. So there is that's question that navigate fear, hope, and belongingness. Their belongingness, which I did not talked about. I think I talked about this thinly, that belongingness. So, I think you basically want to that what from from where they want to come belong. I think this is the question that how they are trying to navigate their belongingness. So their
Yeah, yeah,
belongingness
like
is their hello hello. Raja
yes,
Lohar,
yes,
is
yes.
this is your question that
Yes, yes.
to where actually they show their belongingness. So belongingness is a
Mm.
contested thing, that most of the people they are divided, most of the communities they are divided. But belongingness, political belongingness is a different thing, and social belongingness is a different thing. People normally they are just uh, contradicting these two things, that political belongingness, that's they belong to their nation. So Pakistan side of people, they belong to, politically they belongs to Pakistan side, but their social belonging, that's an intersecting point, that there where they are socially because when communities are divided, their belongingness at that side of border, you cannot restrict a person while being जब आप वो सोच रहा है कि हाँ मैं उस साइड से बिलोंग करता हूँ, आई एम बिलोंगिंग टू दैट साइड, सो दैट्स नॉट a bad thing in it. So that's a social process that cannot be restricted. But their political belongingness is entirely a different thing. So most of the people they are just uh, indicating this, that's political belongingness and the social belonging. Obviously, socially they belong to their community, they belong to their ethnicity, they belong to their language. So that's their social belonging. The political belonging, where by whom they are controlled. Okay.
Okay. The second question from Rajiv sir.
Okay. Second question: how are border community viewing the current security situation? Pahalgam terror attack, Operation Sindoor, and escalation. So that whenever this is a very interesting question, but इस चीज को टाइम लगता है सेटल होने में लोगों के माइंड में कि हाउ दे आर लुकिंग. अभी इस तरह की कोई स्टडी नहीं हुई है कि जो डेटा हमारे पास आया है, लोगों के व्यू पॉइंट्स आए हैं. But as of now I'm working on these borderland people, that how they are looking. But
I think you can, Mr. Khan, you can also share your feeling because you himself belong to this region. I think
yes,
I read about your experience in Telegraph or some newspaper. You share your thoughts
exactly.
on the.
But
You
the
can
thing
share
is this:
your
the first
point.
and foremost thing for these borderland dweller, the people who are living on the borderland space, that is the question of survival. First of the first question, है ना, that's their survival. Don't go into this debate that whether they are in support of Operation Sindoor, or in the opposition of Operation Sindoor, or this escalation. Obviously they will not tolerate any kind of escalation. A people who are living in Delhi, a people, the question of national enemy. If I put this question into other words, it's a question of national enemy. that people living in the metropolitan city, उसके लिए यही है कि that Pakistan is our enemy, उसको एक ही बार में खत्म कर दो. या जो लाहौर और कराची में पर्सन इज सिटिंग, उनको ये लगता है कि इनको खत्म कर. बट व्हाट अबाउट दो हाउ दोज पीपल दे आर लुकिंग एट द बॉर्डर्स, दे नेवर वांट एस्केलेशन बिकॉज देयर लाइफ एट स्टेक. दे नेवर वांट, उनका लाइफ ही नहीं बचेगा. उनको बोथ नेशन को क्या करना है. फर्स्ट ऑफ द हमारा जो अगर एरिस्टोटल से दैट फर्स्ट बिलोंगिंग इज टू आवर फैमिली. सबसे पहले फैमिली के साथ बिलोंगिंग है ना, उसके बाद रेस्ट ऑफ द थिंग्स है ना. बट आई ऑलरेडी टोल्ड दैट उनका एफिलिएशन किस तरह से, दैट हाउ दे आर सिक्योरिंग द बॉर्डर एंड ऑल दैट, दैट्स देयर. बट देयर दिस क्वेश्चन ऑफ सर्वाइवल, दैट इज द प्राइमरी थिंग फॉर देम. द सर्वाइवल इज द प्राइमरी थिंग. उनके लिए लाइफ डेली एक सर्वाइवल है, उनके लिए डेली लाइफ एक चैलेंज है. उनके लिए दे नेवर वांट वार, नेवर. व्हाई? बिकॉज बॉर्डरलैंड वार होगा सबसे पहले, द पीपल ऑफ द बॉर्डर दे विल गेट, है ना, डिस्टर्ब, वैनिश्ड. दिल्ली में तो पीपल दे आर नॉट डिस्टर्ब, कोलकाता में, मेट्रोपॉलिटन सिटी में नो. सेम इज केस विद कराची, लाहौर, नो. कहीं पर भी जब भी वार होता है, कॉन्फ्लिक्ट चाहे जिसके बीच में भी हो, उसकी वजह चाहे जो भी हो, सबसे पहले बॉर्डर लैंड पे आर्म सिविलियंस की ही डेथ होती है. कितने सारे घर, वेयर आई एम लिविंग, इन केस ऑफ मेरे खुद घर में हम 5-6 दिन तक हम अंडरग्राउंड बंकर में रहे. तो देयर विल यू से दैट ऑपरेशन सिंदूर, प्रो ऑपरेशन सिंदूर या समथिंग लाइक दैट? नो. द क्वेश्चन ऑफ सर्वाइवल देयर. दिस इज योर व्यू पॉइंट because you are living in a place that is the calm space. It's the people who are living on the core, they are just trying to define the feelings of the borderland people. How they cannot, उन्होंने वो कभी लाइफ देखी ही नहीं है. So for that you need an ethnographic work. You need to stay with those people who are living on the border. So whenever there is a big happening, whether it is Pulwama attack, whether it is Pahalgam, या कल even what happened in Pakistan. So whenever there is situation like this, it's the first of all the border becomes securitized, tightened. They have been tightened. They have been under strict surveillance, restrictions. क्योंकि सबसे ज़्यादा restriction you will face on the borders. Okay. So they never want any kind of unusual happening in the core or in the periphery. They don't want.
Okay, Mr. Khan, if all right with you, so can we take one or two more questions? If it is okay with you, your time.
I think. Okay, just do it hurriedly because.
Okay, just simple and short answer.
To the point.
To the point. This question from Lob Singh.
What is the question?
Is the existence of a political border?
Rajdeep.
No, I shared. Please see in the screen. It is visible. The question from Lob Singh.
Wait. Lobson, thank you for your insightful presentation. Is the existence of the formal political border a necessary precondition for the emergence of borderland? Obviously, that the geographical, the territoriality of the border, it's necessary. Am I audible and visible?
Yes, you're audible and visible.
Okay. The thing is that can you please just Apura, can you please share the screen? I for this question I need to go back into the presentation.
Okay. Which slide? The number of slide? 8 or 7?
Wait. I think I have to.
Uh, Raja, what happened?
Yeah,
She might lost his. He might lost his network. Na?
yeah, might be. He may join. I think we can wait for some time.
Wait. Just I drop one text to him.
Hello.
Yes, he's back.
Uh, can you please share the slide of that? That's the definition of borderland. Can you please share that? No, the second one. Back. Yes. Here, I just there. If it's visible to you that first come the borders. That that's the dividing line, है ना? Whether it should be on the land, a border, a line, a political dividing line on the geography. Then uh, then just go back. Then comes the borderland, which create the borderline, because if there is division on the line, on the geography, then it become borderland, है ना? Without division there is no borderland. I'm talking about political border, which is between the borders. There are other kind of borders, है ना? There are emotional kind of borders, and religious kind of borders are also there, but I'm talking about the this geographical border, uh, between the nations. First come the borders, then it create the borderland. Then people who are encompassing all those, living in the proximity of all those borderland, they are called borderland people. This how this work in a structured way.
Okay. The another
It's a
question
for
from the same person.
can a space without a clearly demarcated political boundary still be conceptualized as borderland? That's some time that we are making borders, because it's a anthropologically we are saying that we are creating border in our villages also. We are creating border inside the nations, inside the nation, whether it's politically accepted or not. Even हम villages में borders बना देते हैं. Is it this politically accepted? No, formally politically not accepted. हम borders में village बना देते हैं. So it depend upon the homogeneity of the people who are living at that space, that how much homogenized, how much heterogeneous they are. So it can be conceptualized without politically be. There are you will find there are borders around the world, which people they are creating out of their own this differences create borders, and borders create borderland people. And but what kind of this political this authentication is there? That's a question, place to place, country to country. Some conflict, even by Indo Bangladesh border, वहाँ पे a lot of spaces which लोगों को लगता है border है ही नहीं. लोगों को लगता है वो border है ही नहीं, but that work as a border, that restrict. But the question of the restrictions when come, the question of restrictions come with the borderland. that that is the question, that was the debate which we today's debate on. But when restrictions with the borderland, so that make the life of the people this a challenging task. There are borderland which are not creating much differences, which are creating opportunities. lot of borders. अगर आप देखोगे मिडिल ईस्ट में, you will find border that if there are not opportunity to sell your products in your country, रातों रात you are selling your product in another country, और सुबह होते आप वापस आ जाते हो. There are opportunities in the border around the world, but you will not find those kind of opportunities uh, in Indo-Pak border. Especially you will get all this idea and all this memoir from those who are living on the border, who are living their life as a border. You will not find it in the books. You will not find it in through data sheets. You have to stay with those people, how they are working, how they are living, how they are managing their day-to-day life.
Okay,
So,
just last and the final question. Huh?
the simple
Okay.
question that we have.
Hmm? You are not audible, Mr. Khan.
Uh,
Am I audible now?
yeah,
Yes,
you're
yes.
audible now.
In what ways the digital platform WhatsApp, YouTube enabled or challenges culture preservation conflicts? तो सबसे पहले कल्चर प्रिजर्वेशन की जब बात आती है, when so मैंने पहले ही बोला दैट कल्चर प्रिजर्वेशन इज लिंक्ड विद दैट मोस्ट ऑफ इन जम्मू एंड कश्मीर, the most of the people who are living on the borders, their culture is very much linked with their traditional practices. And when you are talking about this mobile technology and all that, so actually they are under the threat of globalization, the instrument of globalization. एक बंदे के हाथ में फोन है, यूट्यूब है, he will not finally look into his culture, he will look into the other things. So I don't
And that is
think
the
I don't think it basically helped in the this culture preservation. That's my
okay.
opinion.
Okay, that is why was that is there any challenges that bring with these digital platforms?
I think much.
Okay. I think we have covered all the questions more or less, and we come to our end of our session, right, Raja
Hmm. Yeah,
and
okay.
Mr. Khan?
So I will say thank you for joining us today and giving a very enriching, we can say a very enriching lecture today that have like we can witness from the number of the questions that we have like seen today. Uh, and we hope that will join you to again in the future lecture series. Thank you for joining us.
Uh, okay, Mr. Khan, my special thanks to you that you actually आप मान गए हो so that we can hear you from the person who himself belongs to this region and who himself actually survive or suffer this kind of, you have beautifully or very carefully mentioned about the civil military role or the Sadbhavana scheme. So you really rightly pointed out that no media and still मुझे भी मालूम नहीं था. So these are the facts or these are the ground realities that are कभी कभी नहीं आते from media or from televisions. But yes, I truly believe that your knowledge and your meaningful dialogue will also enrich our platform. And also जो जो भी हमारे स्टूडेंट्स या फिर रिसर्च स्कॉलर देखे कि उनको भी they can also get a reference point to study or further research on these sensitive issues or topic, right? So once again, I thank you for your time and effort that you dedicate in this session, right? And we look forward to staying connected and hopefully learning more from you in the future engagement.
Surely.
Okay, so before close the session, I would request our viewers, please share, subscribe, and support our work if you like. And thank you. We'll see you in the next session. Until then, stay tuned, happy, and
Mm.
Shubharatri to everyone.
Okay.
Good night,
Thank you.
Siddhant.
Thank you. Thank
Good
you.
night and thank you.